Good afternoon from the National Service of the Liberia Broadcasting System and welcome to Newsline. 30 minutes news presentation about Liberia and the rest of our one world. Today is Monday, August 21, 2023. With this afternoon's presentation, my name is Titi Jibro. Top stories this afternoon: Western Liberia gets ready to receive President George Weah and campaign entourage Tuesday. Vice President Joel Howard Taylor highlights crucial impact of government's policies on the lives of Liberians. Government begins enrollment exercise for at-risk youth in Montserrat County and away from Liberia. ECOWAS dismisses negotiating tactic pronouncement by Niger's coup leader that civilian rule cannot be restored for 3 years. Sports, the news in French, a report of today's weather and foreign development are all packaged. Edward Tamba first sets the pace with a bulletin of news.
Citizens in Western Liberia are said to have intensified preparations ahead of President George Weah and the Coalition for Democratic Change campaign activities in that part of the country. The Liberian leader and entourage will this week tour Bomi, Bapolu, and Grand Cape Mount counties as part of his strategic voter engagements. CDC National Campaign spokesman Councillor Kanil Bagbala told the ELBC Monday the president's development pedigree has made him the inevitable choice of the Liberian people. According to Councillor Gbala, there is no presidential candidate that is better prepared than President Weah, whom he described as a human magnet. He added that those whose lives have been positively impacted by the Liberian Leaders Development Initiative will look to repay him at the first ballot in October. Vice President Joel Howard Taylor has boasted that government's development policy, the proper agenda for prosperity and development, has made positive impacts on ordinary Liberians. Madam Taylor highlighted significant gains in the areas of health, education, and agriculture as some critical interventions made by the CDC-led administration. Speaking Monday on the Super Morning Show, the CDC Vice Standard Bearer said government's free tuition policy has now encouraged more enrollment at universities across the country. She also named ongoing assistance provided to local farmers in support of the National School Feeding Program as another crucial intervention. Government and partners have begun the first enrollment exercise of at-risk youth program in Monrovia. Youth and Sports Minister Zyoga Wilson said the initiative is part of government's plan to improve the livelihood of disadvantaged youths. Minister Wilson disclosed that the exercise will target beneficiaries in the 15 counties of Liberia. He urged at-risk youth to take advantage of the opportunity to transform their lives and contribute meaningfully to society. Meanwhile, some disadvantaged youth have lauded government for the initiative. The government and people of Liberia continue to receive commendations from national and international partners for maintaining 2 decades of constant peace. The latest comes from the Council of Chiefs and Elders of Liberia. The council also lauded development and international partners for their unflinching support to Liberia since the signing of the Accra Peace Accord in 2003. The head of the council, Chief Zanzan Kawa, said the celebration of 20 years of unbroken peace shows Liberia's readiness to foster democracy and uphold the rule of law. Chief Kawa, however, wants citizens embrace dialogue as appropriate alternative in resolving political differences during and after the October 10 presidential and legislative elections. Meanwhile, Chief Kawa also said the council is working along with stakeholders to ensure peaceful presidential and legislative elections. He said the council is currently collaborating with traditional leaders to temporarily suspend traditional activities across the country. According to him, the move is intended to create a level playing field for all political actors to freely campaign. 3 officials in the CDC-led government have vowed to sponsor all public school students in Riverside County. They are Public Works Minister Ruth Coker Collins, Health Minister Wilhelmina Jala, and Labor Minister Charles Gibson. Ministers Coker Collins, Jala, and Gibson, according to our correspondent, are believed to have hailed from Riverside County. The disclosure was made over the weekend in Sestor City by Public Works Minister Ruth Coker Collins when she launched Team Ruth Coker Collins for the re-election of President George Weah. Minister Coker Collins spoke of plans to continue the road works in Riverside County. Local authorities in Grand Cape Mount have provided over 20 motorbikes to chiefs and commissioners in the county. According to our correspondent, the decision was reached during the last county sitting by citizens in the county. Our correspondent quotes the local authorities as saying the motorbikes are intended to ease transportation constraints encountered by chiefs and commissioners over the years. The bags were presented by Grand Cape Mount County Senator Councillor Vani Sherman on behalf of the county caucus. And the executive director of the National Disaster Management Agency, Henry Williams, has hailed President George Weah for creating an enabling and peaceful environment for Liberians. Mr. Williams said, investors are now coming into the country to support the government due to the peaceful and democratic status of the nation. He made the remarks Monday at the start of a 3-day review and validation workshop of the National Early Warning and Emergency Operations Center Standard Operating Procedure in Monrovia.
I want to thank the President of the Republic of Liberia, President Weah, for creating a peaceful environment, because without this environment, partners will not have the confidence to partner with government institutions.
The NDMA boss, however, dismissed rumors that governments, ministries, and agencies are not functioning due to ongoing campaign activities. Mr. Williams said, despite the ongoing political events in the country, government-run ministries and agencies are effectively on course.
Edward Tama returns a little later with our foreign development and weather report. One of our top stories this afternoon, government begins enrollment exercise for at-risk youth in Montserrat County. To this story now, CDC Standard-Bearer President George Weah will begin his tour of Western Liberia Tuesday in continuation of his strategic voter engagements. It followed the conclusion of similar engagements in Montserrat County over the weekend. Councillor Kanyo Barbala is the national campaign spokesman of the Weah Taylor 2023 victory team. He explains to Melvin Stewart about how the development record of President Weah